nations, to build businesses. Leadership is at the prime stake. But on the other side, if you look at the leadership today is declining. There are a lot of things which are not supposed to be done, or a lot of things have been changing and people are not going in the right direction. So but there are several challenges which are occurring, especially in the leadership. Now, one of the major I would say a thought process to recorrect that leadership is going for a spiritual leadership, and one of the most important area is prophetic leadership. How do we go ahead with the thought process of the Prophet Muhammad, and how can we take it further? How can we use it for the world, for the benefit of people? So today I'm going to put some light on what is prophetic leadership, and what are some of the elements of that prophetic leadership. So moving on with the first thought process, that what is the view of leadership today? How what are the basic addressing questions of leadership? Why do we require a leader, and what is something which is essential for a good leadership? So looking at explaining life and the world, leadership has got a broader context, and it addresses three important questions. The first is, how did we get here? What is our purpose? Like, even in the organization, what is the purpose of a leader, or what is the purpose of an employee? It's very important to understand purpose. So even in the Islamic or a prophetic leadership, we must understand what is our purpose of existence, why we are here, what is the reason. We need to understand that. That's the first step we need to resolve. The second is, why are we here? What are the things which I need to do? Why are we here? Why we are doing all these things? We need to understand and evaluate these aspects. Then where are we doing it? How we are going to do it, and where are we going to do it? And lastly, who is in charge? So Almighty, again, Prophet Muhammad is an in charge for all our leadership, all our life. So I think if you look at the Islamic literature, you will realize that leadership has been defined with several contexts. If you go through a lot of research papers on Islamic leadership or a prophetic leadership, you'll find a lot of good things which are aligning with the recent trends in leadership. And today, one of the most important area of leadership is transformational leadership. A leader who transform people, who transform businesses, who transform organizations, nations. And this domain of leadership has been largely influenced by Islamic leadership. Certain characteristics, if you look at the inspirational motivation, having a clear vision, having optimism in the entire thought process and activities, having an inclusion approach towards people, building a good productivity. These are few traits of inspirational motivation when we talk about the transformational leadership. Then influence, like being a role model, being good enough, being honest, being good with people. So being a role model, walking the walk, again, doing the things which a leader is saying, having enthusiasm and having good values. These are the few traits which a transformational leader should have. Then some of the individual considerations, like being a good mentor, helping people, having empathy towards people, understanding the feelings and emotions of people, having a purpose for life. This is an important element of a transformational leader, where you understand what other people want, you understand what you want from your life, and also understand your strength and skills required to lead successfully in the organization or even in the business. And lastly, intellectual stimulations, like a leader should have a good innovation, creativity, in the entire purview of the activities, and then should have good goals and challenges, and also should have the ability to overcome those challenges. Now, guys, to sum up all these criterias, if you look at the Islamic and the prophetic leadership, you will find all these aspects are already mentioned in Quran, already mentioned in the prophetic leadership. And I think this is one of the major, I would say, finding today, that we should follow the spiritual leadership. We should follow what is already defined by Prophet Muhammad, and that's where I think this discussion starts, where we should understand the leadership, in a much better way with all the prophetic leadership ideas. So let's look at how leadership is relevant in Islam. There are few Arabic terms for a leader, like Amir, or Imam, or Khalifa, or Said, or Qaida, Zaim, Murshid, Rais. All these are few terminologies relating to the leadership, and they are called as leaders. But the real essence of leader is somebody who takes other people with him, somebody who guide, who mentor, who support other people to be successful. And I think that is the real purpose of leadership, which is defined in the Islam. Now, what basically aspects which are covered in leadership in Islam? So Adam, who was the first human creation and a leader, he defined leadership with as the heart of Allah's creation and divine sunnah. And we have honored the people of Adam. We did indeed offer the trust to heavens and earth and the mountains, but they refused to undertake it, being afraid thereof, but a man undertook it. So this is again, which emphasizes on how leadership is evolved, and how we should go ahead with people, how we should maintain the success of all the individuals through the leadership. In fact, the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 30 on leadership, talks about when your Lord said to the angels, "Indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority." They said, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctify you?" Allah said, "Indeed, I know that which you do not know." This is very important verse, which talks about the values of a leader in an Islamic perspective. So a leader, somebody who have very clear values and ethics to work upon. So the lesson here is we should have great level of honesty, integrity, ethics, and values to lead people. This is the lesson which we all must remember. Several other instances of leadership in Islam, like the Muhammad also talked about being the seal of prophets, and which was again for everyone, including parents or teachers or leaders, politicians, businessmen. It talked about each of you is a shepherd and each responsible for his flock. Bukhari and Muslim. This was one of the I would say an important verse, which talks about taking the responsibility for everything. You are responsible for your life, you are responsible for whatever activities you do. So it's very important to be true with yourself and being true with others. You should have your own moral values, ethics, and all clarity and honesty for yourself. On the second side, when three are on the journey, there should appoint one as a leader, which was said by Abu Dawud. Again, this emphasizes that any journey or any success is impossible without leader. So even in the journey of life, we need a leader, and Prophet Muhammad is our leader. So whenever you do anything, I think we should always have a leader, and we should follow that leader to take it to the success. So today, I think we all live in a very discreet world, but we have all the social media and a lot of things going around us, and people go on party and many other things. But it's very important that we should follow our own instinct. We should integrate the values and ethics. so that we should have this journey of life uh, to a greater extent. And I think Prophet Muhammad has directed all of us. So what basically a leadership context today we are discussing on. So how this leadership area has been developed, of course, all the spiritualities have been including this the leadership as a major part. But on the several occasions, over 200 varying definitions since 1920s have broadly agreed that leadership is all about a person or persons somehow moving the other people to do something. This is very interesting because leadership is not being successful alone. It's all about making others successful. How can you make a difference in the other's life? How can you help other people? How can you make other people succeed? That's what the leader is meant to be. Leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek defined objective enthusiastically. It is a human factor which binds a group together and motivates it towards a goal. Very interesting to talk about how we form teams. Leader is responsible to form teams and also to motivate those teams. So leader believes in the team. He motivates the team and ensures that the goal is achieved. So looking that from the management context, management activities like planning, organizing, decision making, execution, all these are defined as a part of management. But leadership is more of taking the things to the next level. Like just rather than just going through a process, leadership is more about driving people. How do you drive people? How do you motivate people to the next level? I think all traditional definitions of management or leadership fails to signify how we can take people to the next level. And I think Prophet Muhammad has rightly addressed that we should take the people to the next level by imbibing character, values, ethics, and motivation. So this is how the leadership goes in the context. Now, there is a very famous book, which is The Leadership of Muhammad by John Adair. And he talked about three essential aspects in his theory of leadership. And there are three needs in his theory of leadership. The first is task needs, then team needs, and individual needs. So if you want to be a good leader, you must understand the needs of the task or a goal, your team members, and individually to all the members involved in the task. So he talked about how we can understand the task need, like you can define the task, make a plan according to the task, allocate resources, controlling the quality, checking performance, and adjusting plan. To understand the team needs, you can set standards, you can maintain discipline, build team spirit, encourage people, motivate people, appoint different roles to people so that they can work, and ensuring a good communication in the group. And individual needs like attending personal problems or issues, or valuing individuals, recognizing their strength, their abilities, training people. So if you look at this model, I think this has already been a part of Quran, which has already been there. And I think we all can become very successful, if successful as a leader, if we understand these needs. So even the today's modern management talks about so many things, but Quran has already mentioned it long back to become a great leader. So I think this is the Adair's theory of leadership, and he rightly influenced and addressed about three critical areas of leadership. So talking about the different qualities of prophetic leadership, what qualities any prophetic leader should have. So there are many books on this subject, but all of them talk about the top 11 qualities. And the first one is integrity, trustworthy, or being ethical. How good you are with people, how integrated you are with people, how trustworthy you are to the others, and how ethical you are to all the activities. This is the number one priority to become a very good leader. Secondly, to have a good vision to inspire other. If you can't inspire other, if you can't motivate other, if you do not have a bigger vision which everybody could follow, you can't be a successful leader. You have to create that environment, create that vision which could inspire people. Then being a servant leader, you need to be very true with yourself. You have to be unbiased to everyone, as a group or as a team. You should have some spiritual intelligence. You understand the spirituality involved in all the rules which you are doing. You should have fairness to applying justice, competent enough to address all aspects of the people. You should be courageous to take the things further and take a responsibility of the things. This is very important. Being responsible is an important factor for a prophetic leadership. Having a balanced personality, you should have the decisiveness, gentleness, and appreciativeness, and finally patience. So these are top qualities of a prophetic leadership, and I think if you imbibe these qualities in yourself, I'm sure that you can become a very good, successful leader, and in fact, a prophetic leader in the future. So again, to support further, one of the research done by Cause and Posner in United States, and they studied the leadership traits, especially importantly mentioned by Prophet Muhammad. So they surveyed 200 and 615 leaders, and they talked about certain characteristics of the leader. And the number one criteria, or a characteristic which came out of their survey, is honesty and trustworthiness. How honest you are and how trustworthy you are to the people. I think this is one of the most highlighting characteristics